Now for this week's predictions. We're being led by Michael Christopher, 9-1 again last week. I was 8-2 again, one game again behind, and as we keep going downhill, once again, it's Mr. David and Colby at 7-3 last week. And let's see now, that'd be 4 games behind the leader. So, starting off, we have East Gaston at South Point. Mike, tell us how you feel about that one.
South Point, after playing Lincoln, it looked like both teams were pretty equal, but I like South Point in this game over East Gaston team that's still trying to find its identity, so South Point.
All right.
I'm gonna, after seeing East Gaston last week, a little shaky still. I'm gonna go with South Point this week.
Right, I'm going to go with the upset and take East Gaston. Time for me to make my comeback. Next up, Ashbrook at Shelby. Colby.
Ashbrook, they're still a team on the rise, and I think they have a couple more years to go, and so I'm going to take Shelby in this one.
I'm leaning towards Shelby too. I'm going with the home team, and I just think Ashbrook started out the year 0-2, and it just ain't going to get any better for them. They're going to be 0-3, and playing a tough schedule though. So maybe you playing those 2 tough games at the beginning will help them, and they can pull out an upset. But I just don't see it this week.
I like Shelby at home. They rarely lose at home, and it's against a struggling Ashbrook team. So Shelby, I'll go ahead and make it unanimous.
Another big game in Cleveland County this week, we have Burns at Kings Mountain. What about that, Mike?
This is a game that I've thought about a lot, and it's really a flip of a coin. After the way Burns played last week against Crest, they led, I believe, it was 20 to nothing at one point, and Matt Beam, former North Lincoln coach, has got Burns ready, but I believe Kings Mountain attack is just going to spread them out a little bit, and I like Kings Mountain.
All right, I will take Burns on this one. After seeing them last week against Crest and pushing them to the limit, I mean, Crest had to win that game off of 2 field goals in the last 5 minutes. So I think Burns can go into Kings Mountain and pull the upset.
I'm going to disagree and take Kings Mountain this week. I think they're just going to be a better football team out there on Friday nights.
Just let you know, Chloe, taking with him doesn't mean you're going to make up ground, okay? But moving on. Moving on, we have Chase at Bessemer City, a big win last week. How do you see this one, Colby?
I'm going to take Bessemer City this week, and might be a close game, but Bessemer City.
All right, Mike.
I actually like Chase. Bessemer City is struggling to score on offense. They've done all their scoring on defense, so I like Chase and a good win.
Alrighty, and I'm going to take Chase also. I just think, you can only win so many games, like you said, through defense. I mean, they say defense wins championships, but you can't rely on it to score all your points either. Alrighty, next is Crest at TC Robeson. Colby, how do you feel?
I feel that Crest is going to zone pretty easily this week, so look for them to win on Friday night.
Alright.
I like a tough game against Burns. I think they want to establish themselves as a team and a dominant force in the league. So I think that this will be their breakout game for me. So I like Crest.
This will be one of our first in this decision, I think, Crest. And now we have next up we have North Lincoln and East Surrey. Do you see North Lincoln getting off the snide and getting their first win this week?
Well, David, I think that North Lincoln plays a good second half, but I think that East Surrey is going to be too strong and get out to a big lead. And I just, unfortunately for North Lincoln, this is a rough rebuilding year, and I think that East Surrey should take this one.
I'm going to disagree and take North Lincoln. Start out 0-2, but I look for them to rebound big time this week against East Surrey.
Colby, I think you're going to drop another one there. I'm going with East Surrey also. All righty, our next game is Weddington at North Gaston. Colby, do you see North Gaston getting their first win?
Well, feeling brave tonight, so I'm going to take North Gaston, and they're going to come through for me this week against Weddington.
All righty, -5.
He is a brave man. I would say that for him, folks. I think Weddington takes this one after the beating North Gaston took. It's hard confidence-wise. It's hard football-wise to focus, and I think that against the Weddington, the North Gaston just can't get the job done. I think they'll get behind early, and it should be an easy game for Weddington.
Oh yes, this is going to be an easy game for Weddington, led by their quarterback, who is a Duke signee, a Division I, prospect. So I think Weddington takes this one fairly easy. Now, Colby, here's your favorite one, Kennedy Charter at East Lincoln. Do you see your Kennedy going off the upset against East Lincoln this week?
I'm not seeing it this week either. I feel sorry for Kennedy Charter with all these teams they're having to play in a row. So they're going to drop another one tonight, Friday night. So poor them.
Actually, that game's on Thursday night, and the reason it's on Thursday night is because the Kennedy Charter coach is getting married on Friday, so he and Coach Bias at East Lincoln wanted to go ahead and move up the game. That gives Mike Bias another week to, calculate his offense, get it going, and also scout another team. East Lincoln rolls in this one.
Yes, I'm taking East Lincoln too, and just like to say congratulations, Coach, on getting married. Next up, we have Fred T. Ford versus West Lincoln, and what's going to be West Lincoln's biggest game of the year so far. How do you see that one shaking out?
Tough game, very tough game. This game will definitely, whoever wins, which I'm going to go with West Lincoln. They're on a roll right now, 2-0. This will be their breakout game, and I think that it'll get them going for the season. I think that West Lincoln will start to establish themselves, and last week they were the only Lincoln County team to win, so I like West Lincoln.
I'm also going to take West Lincoln. As I said, I think they're on a roll, and they'll have to prove something this week.
This is going to be a close game, but might even go down to a field goal. But I think that Fred T. Ford is going to win this week.
Nice. All right, Colby, here you go. Here's your toss-up. Forest View at Clover. Do you think you boys can pull the big upset, be the one team from Gaston County to finally knock Clover off?
Forest View's defense continued to impress last Friday, as well did the run game and Kevin Jeter. But the passing game is still extremely lacking, and I just don't think that you're going to be able to beat Clover without being able to pass it. So I think Clover, it might be close, but Clover's going to win this one at home.
I like Clover in this game. I think that with the game that Forest View had, Jeter will have a big game, I think, first half, and then Clover's defense will shut them down in the second half, and I like Clover in a close one.
Yeah, I do also. I just think, Clover being as big as they are and playing at home, it's just going to be too much to for Forest View to overcome to pull that upset this week, and it's going to be a tough one for Gaston County, 0-3 against Clover. Big boy from South Carolina. He's in the area with Independence versus Rock Hill South Point, and what's your big one of the top games of the year, especially of the early season of football, high school football. How do you see that one, Colby?
Such a huge game. Everybody's been looking forward to this game ever since it was announced. But I think that Independence is going to win this game on Friday night, and they're going to solidify themselves as the team to beat in North Carolina. So,
what about you, Mike? You see any way Independence goes down there and beats Rock Hill also?
I think that they'll give Rock Hill South Point with an E everything they've got, and I think that it'll be a close game late. I think that South Point has home field advantage, and I think that they take this one.
That's the way I see it also. I mean, it's going to be a clash of the Titans down there between, two state powers, one in North Carolina and one in South Carolina, battling it out. And, it's a good game, and I just don't see any way Independence can go down there and get it. I think, South Point, might get it by a field goal or, one-score game, but South Point is going to win it. Rock Hill South Point all the way. I'd like to say good luck to Coach Clark and his continued progress through his injury, and glad to see him back for this one game for Bowling Springs, South Carolina, and can't wait for the day that he can be back there full-time coaching his team.